Every motorcyclist knows the essentials. Wear your helmet, avoid speeding, and signal your turns. However, in the United States, you might be surprised by some of the motorcycle laws that exist. Some of these rules feel so outdated that you don't understand why they're still there in the first place, while others are surprisingly useful yet almost no one knows about them. Today, let's explore some of the strange, forgotten, and often overlooked motorcycle regulations across the country. These laws could help you avoid a ticket, catch you by surprise as you cross state lines, or simply be an interesting fact you can share at your next bike meetup. So, let's dive into the unique rules of the motorcycling world. To kick things off, did you know it's legal to run a red light in certain states? That's right. In states such as Illinois, Missouri, and Minnesota, there are laws that permit motorcycles, and in some cases bicycles, to proceed through a red light in specific situations. Why is this the case? Traffic sensors usually don't detect motorcycles since they're designed for the weight of cars, making your 500-pound bike virtually invisible. Here's the important part. If you're stuck at a red light that doesn't change after a reasonable wait, about 120 seconds, you can legally pass through the intersection, provided it's safe to do so. This can be a real game changer. Otherwise, you might find yourself waiting indefinitely for a car to activate the light, or worse, risking a ticket for running it. Just keep in mind that this doesn't give you carte blanche to run every red light. Laws vary by state, and it's crucial to be cautious and have a valid reason for your actions. Officers may not take it easy on you, especially in busy traffic, but in the states where this is allowed, it can truly make a difference. In fact, many riders have reported successfully navigating red lights, only to find themselves under scrutiny for it. Always be aware of your surroundings and familiarize yourself with local laws before riding in a new area. Now, let's discuss helmets. A lot of riders think they need to wear one everywhere, but it's not quite that simple. In fact, some states permit riding without a helmet under certain circumstances. Take Florida, for example. Motorcyclists over 21 can legally ride without a helmet, but there's a stipulation. You must have at least $10,000 in medical insurance. In states like Michigan and Pennsylvania, there are some similarities when it comes to motorcycle laws, though there are key differences regarding age and insurance specifics. The core idea is straightforward. If you're of legal age and have the right insurance, you get to choose whether or not to wear a helmet. Many riders jump at the chance when they hear "helmet not required," but it's important to note that this freedom comes with risks. Riding without a helmet significantly increases the likelihood of severe injuries if you're in an accident, and the details of insurance coverage can vary greatly. Always take the time to evaluate both the risks and the benefits before deciding to skip this essential safety gear. However, not all riders will fall under the same regulations. Your insurance policy may dictate different rules. Some laws are based on factors like engine size or type of motorcycle, so if you're caught without the proper insurance qualifications, you could face steep fines or even points on your license. Sure, there are states where you can cruise freely, but unless you fully understand local laws and have your paperwork in order, you could end up facing some serious consequences. Keep in mind that insurers often review your riding history, meaning any lapses or ticket violations could lead to increased premiums or reduced coverage options down the line. Moving on to another unexpected regulation. In many states, it's illegal to carry a passenger unless your motorcycle has foot pegs, regardless of whether the passenger actually uses them. This rule often takes riders by surprise, particularly when they're looking to take a friend on a quick trip. If your bike isn't set up for passengers with proper foot pegs, you're technically violating the law. New riders, or those who make aesthetic modifications, might remove those rear pegs, thinking they're unnecessary. If you're caught with a passenger and those pegs aren't there, you can expect to receive a ticket. Some states even stipulate that a designated passenger seat is mandatory. Just having a padded fender isn't enough. Plus, getting pulled over without the correct setup could result in additional penalties that affect your ability to ride legally in the future. So, before you invite your friend for a ride on your modified bike, it's wise to familiarize yourself with local regulations. That seemingly quick trip could end up leading to unwelcome costs. Now, let's address another common misconception. Many riders believe that having a windshield means they can forego using goggles or glasses. That assumption could lead to trouble. In several states, including New York, Georgia, and Minnesota, it's a requirement to wear eye protection while riding. And let's be clear, a fashionable squint simply won't meet the standard. The purpose behind this law is straightforward. Windshields don't offer complete protection against flying debris and insects. So, if you want to avoid a fine or something worse, it's essential to wear proper eye gear, no matter what extras your bike might have. In fact, in some states, if you're not wearing shatter-resistant eyewear, you could be breaking the law. That means your regular sunglasses may not be enough. And here's something to keep in mind. In some states, tinted lenses are banned after dark. You could be compliant at 6 p.m., but by 8 p.m., you might find yourself facing a ticket. This isn't just a minor issue. Riders have been penalized for not adhering to these regulations. Stay proactive about your gear. Being informed and properly outfitted can really enhance both your enjoyment and compliance on the road. Before you ride, make sure you check your state's laws. Investing in the correct pair of goggles can save you a lot of headaches down the line. Also, consider looking into local motorcycle safety courses. Many states provide resources that can boost your riding skills and keep you updated on the latest regulations. Now, let's dive into foot positioning. It may sound odd, but it's true. In states like California and Texas, you risk getting a ticket for having your feet off the pegs while riding. Just lifting your feet for a brief stretch could land you in trouble if an officer is watching. This law is meant to ensure that proper foot placement maintains bike control. And while that's a solid principle, it doesn't always reflect the reality of riding. Riders often need to shift their legs for comfort, to adjust their gear, or to avoid a hot exhaust. However, you need to be aware of your surroundings and the legal repercussions, because losing control, even for a moment, can put you at risk of a citation. This law can particularly impact newer riders or those on long journeys who frequently adjust their positions. Remember, letting your feet hang off the bike? That could get you pulled over faster than performing a wheelie in a school zone. So keep your feet firmly on the pegs and stay up to date with your local regulations. Let's dive into something that might catch you off guard. Riding side by side isn't legal everywhere. You've probably spotted two riders cruising next to each other, chatting, showing off, or simply enjoying the open road. While it seems like a great way to bond, this practice is actually prohibited in certain states. Many places allow motorcycles to share a lane, commonly referred to as riding two abreast, but some states mandate staggered or single-file riding for safety reasons. Montana and Arkansas, for example, have specific rules against side-by-side riding due to concerns over visibility and maneuverability. Riding closely can hinder your ability to react promptly, so it's essential to familiarize yourself with the laws before you hit the road with a friend. Following these regulations not only keeps you safe, but also promotes a positive image of motorcyclists to other drivers, fostering better relationships on the road. When you're on the road, grasping your bike's handling is key, especially during group rides. Here's the twist. While side-by-side riding might be demonstrated in slow-speed parades or practice runs, the rules shift on public roads. Many states advocate for offset riding for enhanced safety. Even if the law isn't straightforward about this, some law enforcement may see side-by-side formations as risky, especially in heavy traffic or narrow lanes. What seems like a relaxed ride could land you in hot water if something goes awry. Staying within the legal framework ensures not just your safety, but also the safety of everyone sharing the road. Always check your local regulations before riding too closely. What starts as a casual outing can quickly become complex. Now let's discuss a frequently overlooked topic: the licensing requirements for trikes or sidecars. Many riders assume that holding a motorcycle endorsement is enough to operate any two- or three-wheeled vehicle. However, in states like California, you actually need a separate Class M3 license for three-wheeled motorcycles. Why's that? The handling characteristics of a trike are significantly different from those of a traditional motorcycle. Unlike leaning into turns or counter-steering on a motorcycle, riding a trike is more similar to handling an ATV or a small convertible. The DMV wants to ensure that you're capable of handling these different machines safely. Upgrading your motorcycle license is more than just a formality. It often requires additional training. Many riders discover that signing up for a specialized course not only sharpens their riding skills, but also deepens their understanding of safe riding practices. This is especially important since trike mechanics and handling can vary significantly with different speeds and road conditions. By investing in proper training, you'll not only meet legal requirements, but also boost your confidence when you hit the road. Now here's a point that might throw you for a loop. If you take your motorcycle test on a trike, you could end up licensed only for three-wheeled bikes. This means that if you want to ride a traditional two-wheeler, you'll need to pass a separate test. New riders, particularly those getting Can-Ams or custom builds, often find this surprising as they think they've navigated around the toughest parts of the motorcycle exam. So, if you're thinking about joining the three-wheeled community, make sure you're clear on your state's licensing rules. Having the wrong license could transform your new pride and joy into a frustrating piece of lawn decor. And here's something you might not know. In some places, motorcycles can legally park on the sidewalk. It sounds almost too good to be true, and in some cases, it really is. For instance, in San Francisco, specific areas permit motorcycles to park on the sidewalk as long as they're not blocking pedestrian pathways. It's essential to check the local laws for the specifics, as this unique rule can differ greatly from one location to another. Let's tackle the topic of motorcycle parking in busy urban areas. Before you even think about rolling your bike onto the nearest curb, keep this in mind. Parking regulations can vary significantly from one spot to another. Just because it's okay to park in one neighborhood doesn't guarantee you won't face issues just a block away. That little difference could lead to hefty fines, or even getting your bike towed. Most of these laws are in place to manage motorcycle parking in congested cities where space is scarce, and let's be honest, bikes can fit where cars can't. Plus, being considerate by avoiding obstructing pathways helps foster good relations between motorcyclists and pedestrians. As responsible riders, we should navigate these urban environments thoughtfully, respecting both the law and the people sharing the sidewalks with us. Many motorcycle riders think it's okay to take up just a small part of a parking space. But here's the thing. Law enforcement often targets bikes parked on sidewalks that are just outside designated areas. The signage can sometimes be confusing, and what looks like a safe spot could lead to unexpected trouble. Sure, parking on the sidewalk might seem like a perk in certain cities, but unless you know the specific rules for that location, don't count on it as a guaranteed option. You could be fined one moment and facing a ticket the next. Moreover, some cities operate with a zero-tolerance stance on sidewalk parking, meaning you could be hit with a hefty fine the second an officer sees your bike, even if you didn't know the rules. Now let's discuss another lesser-known regulation. Your motorcycle needs a specific type of license plate light. This is one of those strange laws that often goes overlooked. Your license plate must be illuminated by a white light that shines directly down on it. Avoid using colored LEDs or anything too flashy. Everything needs to be straightforward. Many riders enjoy customizing their bikes with colorful underglow kits. But if your license plate light isn't the standard white or doesn't clearly illuminate your plate, you could get pulled over. In some states, it's even required for that light to be on whenever your bike is running, regardless of whether it's day or night. This is particularly enforced in states like Texas, Georgia, and Arizona, where officers are particularly strict about minor equipment violations. And if you're tempted to ride without a plate or try to hide it for a cleaner look, be prepared. That could lead to a ticket in virtually any state and, in serious cases, your bike being impounded. So while you're busy perfecting that exhaust sound or debating your next paint job, don't overlook the importance of that little white light. It's essential. Let's explore some motorcycle laws that not every rider knows about. And trust me, understanding these could save you from some frustrating situations. First up, let's address riding on the shoulder. Generally, this practice is prohibited in many areas. It's often seen as reckless and illegal, which can land you in some serious hot water. While many riders might think they can't use the shoulder of the road, there are some surprising exceptions based on local laws. Take Minnesota, for example. Under specific circumstances, motorcyclists are permitted to use the shoulder to avoid traffic jams. However, this privilege comes with a caveat. Safety is paramount. Using the shoulder can be risky not just for you, but also for other drivers on the road, so it's essential to fully understand the regulations in your area before deciding to make that move. In the Twin Cities, there's a unique program that allows motorcycles to use bus-only shoulders during busy traffic times. But there's a twist. This is only applicable on certain highways and requires users to follow specific conditions, including maintaining low speeds. So, if you think you can just zip onto the shoulder because you're late, think again. Compliance with speed limits, posted signage, and safety guidelines is crucial to avoid legal issues. While Minnesota is making strides with this initiative, other regions are considering similar rules. The logic is straightforward. Motorcycles often face challenges like overheating and the risk of rear-end collisions during traffic deadlocks. And safely utilizing the shoulder can actually help alleviate some of these hazards. Studies indicate that allowing bikes on the shoulder might even lessen the overall length of traffic jams, benefiting everyone on the road. But if you find yourself in a new city and see another rider weaving through stopped cars, don't assume that what they're doing is legal. They might be well versed in their local regulations, or they could be setting both of you up for a ticket. So, before you think about taking that shortcut, ensure you know the local laws inside and out. Now let's pivot to the topic of lane splitting. If you're riding in most areas of the US and decide to maneuver between lanes, be careful. You could be setting yourself up for a citation. However, in some states, the story is different. California stands out as the only state where lane splitting is fully legal, as outlined in their vehicle code. Here, motorcyclists can navigate through slow-moving or stopped traffic, a practice designed to reduce congestion and prevent rear-end collisions, essentially promoting a smoother ride for everyone. The California Highway Patrol even provides guidelines to help ensure safety during this maneuver. But California isn't the only one making waves in this area. States like Utah are looking into their own approaches to lane splitting, and some cities are even starting pilot programs to determine if it could be helpful for riders. When it comes to riding a motorcycle, knowing the regulations in your area is crucial. Being informed can really be your best ally on the road. For example, lane splitting, where you maneuver between lanes of stopped traffic, is legal in some states, but not in others. Arizona has recently introduced a law that permits it under certain conditions, much like California. However, it's important to realize how different these laws can be from one state to another. What's acceptable in Salt Lake City could get you a ticket in Phoenix. If you're planning to ride across state lines, make it a point to get to know the local laws. Lane splitting might be applauded in one state, but result in fines in another, so understanding your rights on the road is essential. Now, let's discuss tinted visors. They not only add style, but also provide practical benefits during daytime riding by blocking sunlight. However, many riders are unaware that using tinted visors at night is illegal in many states. The reason? They can significantly hinder visibility, making an exhilarating ride more dangerous. For instance, California has strict laws that require helmet visors to be clear or only lightly tinted after dark. If you get pulled over while wearing a dark visor at night, you could be breaking the law, putting yourself at risk not just from a ticket, but also from reduced visibility on poorly lit roads. It's also important to keep in mind that laws regarding protective gear, including visors, differ greatly across states. What one state may allow in terms of tint, another could restrict, with specific safety standards that gear must meet, including clarity for visors. This variation highlights the need to understand not only the acceptable tint levels, but also any broader regulations related to helmet and gear safety across different jurisdictions. The simplest solution? Just make sure to switch to a clear visor as dusk approaches, or keep one handy for whenever you might need it. Many riders overlook some important motorcycle laws that can really impact their safety and legal standing. For example, there are innovative photochromic visors designed to adjust their tint according to the lighting around you, though they might be on the pricier side. Think about it. If your visibility is limited, your riding safety takes a hit. If a police officer notices you cruising at night with a dark visor, don't be surprised when you hear sirens behind you. So, let's take a look at some surprising yet essential motorcycle laws you really should be aware of. Knowing these regulations can help you dodge potential trouble or prevent costly mistakes while riding. Have you ever stumbled upon a peculiar motorcycle law? Or maybe you found yourself inadvertently breaking a rule and facing the repercussions? I'd love to hear your stories in the comments. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Being informed about the laws is just as crucial as knowing when it might be okay to bend them.